Okay. All right, so let's get started. So we're gonna go in our standing position. Let me take this down just a little bit, and I'm gonna back up here. Okay, so let's start in our standing position. We're really just gonna start moving the head and neck. So I want you just to start taking one ear to one shoulder, and then take the other ear to the other shoulder. If we were all together, I know what would be being said right now. Boy, that creates a lot of noise. There's a lot of crackling going on there, because there always is. So as we're just going ear to shoulder, how about we turn that and let our eyes and chin come towards the shoulder. And then back up, and then eyes and chin. And back up. And just taking it the pace that feels good. So I don't want you to follow me if, for instance, this pace were to make you feel dizzy or anything like that, then just go slower. The idea is we're just working that range of motion in the neck. And then coming to center. Now let's think about our nose leading the way, and I want you to think nose to ceiling, and then nose to chest. And everybody has a different range of motion. What I'm interested in is you just allowing your head to move in all of these directions in your range. And then coming to center. And then just check in that your center is eyes at the horizon, right? Because we often talk about how, oh, my chin is up and I tend to look down. I'd like you to think of your chin being level with the water if you were standing in a pool and the eyes are on the horizon of the water. So now take one hand and bring it up and over like you're just going to bring it to the other side of your head. And you're just going to gently give yourself that assist into a little stretch. Now the arm is giving a little bit of that pull, but it should just feel like a nice assister, that the pull from your upper hand and then the reach of the other arm just gives you some good length. And then very slowly let your head come back to the top. Let's take the other hand over and softly draw it and reach those fingers. You guys have no idea how much, I just mostly feel like myself when I'm doing this. So I'm very grateful that we can all do this way. And then just a soft release there. So now take your chin and the eyes and the nose into an underarm and use that hand again at that angle. And you're just giving it a little assist. I really love these because it feels more like this stretch up into the back of the skull. So more of that trap stretch. So this creates some nice length versus bringing our shoulders up into our ears. And then again, let the release be really slow. And then we'll take that hand over, nose to the underarm, and then just that light assist. So you're making it what feels best for you. And then nice and slow, let that release happen. And now just at your own pace, just create a circle. And I go really slow. And we're just thinking about how that skull gets to move all around, attached to that first vertebrae of the neck, and then just go the other way. You can let your eyes start really being what's drawing the circle around. Come to center. Think of that chin sitting on the top of the water and eyes at the horizon. Good. Inhale those arms up. Exhale, let them just fall down. Inhale them up. Exhale them down. One more, inhaling up. And exhaling down. Let's take only one arm up and find a slight lean away. So I'm anchoring into my feet, letting that upper hand reach as far as it can, right? This is our me, me, me game, right? You're looking for my fingers up there and you're calling to get called upon. Reach through those fingers and then drawing that arm back down. Taking the other arm up and lengthen away. And not just for the bend itself, but letting those fingers go far into the corner of your room, lengthening through that rib cage. And coming back to center. All right, so let's get our belt or our band. And if you're using a TheraBand, if you already tied it, you're gonna have to step through it. And if you're using a belt, you will have to undo it and then tighten it up again. Now there's gonna be a little space if I come close, right? So I'm gonna leave myself a gap. I'm not letting it suck right to my body. I'm leaving some space there. If you did your TheraBand, I would just tie it in a quick knot. It doesn't have to be anything that's too tight because we're gonna make some adjustments. And does everybody have something? Can you give me a thumbs up? Good, everybody has something? Awesome, okay. All right, and for those of you who are doing this later in the day, right, know that you could use a TheraBand, you could use a belt, you could use a necktie, a rope, I mean, anything that's just gonna give you some feedback. You're welcome to stay facing the way you are. I'm just gonna turn so that you can see better for me. So I'm taking my thumbs and I'm just gonna put it through. You could do the same regardless of what you're holding. So I've created that loop with the belt. And now I want you to start breathing, thinking of expanding the back. So we'll inhale, breathing into our loop, and exhale, our body softens from the loop. So inhale, breathing, filling into our loop, and exhale, releasing. Now I'm pulling forward so that I really feel that tension of the loop around my back. So keep breathing in and out at a pace that works for you, looking to use what you feel connecting around your ribs and back to breathe into. Like that's my line that I'm trying to fill up. And hopefully you can see some expansion here for the visual. And notice as my ribs widen, my shoulders don't do a lot of lifting. One more. Good. Now just take one hand over to the side and let the other one go down by the hip. So now, and it doesn't matter to me if you're using your thumb or your fist, right? Do what's comfortable. If you have any arthritis in that thumb, you may not like how that feels. But the idea is I'm pulling now my loop to one side. And now I'm gonna breathe into this side. So now use this connection. There is no right and wrong. We're just utilizing different parts of the lungs. Letting our rib cage get actively stretched. Let's slide the other hand through. And frequently, right, we can feel how one side is easier than the other. So breathing into the connected side. This is a really nice one to practice again in front of a mirror. You're all seeing me, so I hope my ribs moving are the perfect amount of feedback for your body to also get that stimulation going. Good, and coming. Let's get both hands or thumbs inside. And now pull forward quite firmly so that you're really most aware of this back line here. So we're still gonna feel the sides expand, but I want you to really think of breathing into your back. Oh, that feels really good. Exhaling, and you go a pace that feels fast. Breathe into the back. Now this would be the equivalent of laying on the floor and using the floor for the feedback. But I think it feels quite lovely to stand. Give yourself one more. And release. So again, if you need to slide your band down, go ahead. My belt's too tight, I can't slide it over my hips. So I'm gonna unfasten it. Now I will say, coming up really soon, I can't think timelines at the moment, but Jane just did an awesome video for shoulders and breath and breathing, you know what I mean? And she used a hand towel against a wall to kind of create those stimulations. So that's one, for instance, that will be coming up on our social media platforms. So it'd be like a quick little breath one you could use. So just use that as some inspiration as that gets launched in the next day or two. All right, so we're gonna take that belt and, okay, we're gonna take it and we're gonna put it around the wrist. So you can take your loop, and you know, like in class too, sometimes we have to rearrange the loop size, etc. But again, I would say this is similar to the magic circle at the studio. And if you're with someone in your home who hasn't worked with the magic circle, they don't know what they've been missing. But let them kind of check in with them to make sure their circle size is cool. All right, so arms out in front. And now we're just gonna take the arms up overhead and then take them back in front of us. Now in doing this, lifting and lowering, I want you to think about stretching that circle. So for some of you, if you are working with a TheraBand, it's gonna have some give compared to my belt. So you may want to tie this a bit tighter, and you might be realizing that now. Again, I just don't think you can go wrong. So if your arms are in a much wider shape than mine, who cares, right? We're thinking about drawing our shoulder blades together as our arms go up. So drawing shoulder blades together, and as the arms go forward, I'm still pulling apart and my shoulder blades get that widening sensation. Arms go up, shoulder blades draw together. Arms come down, feel the widening. Now as you look at me from the side, notice that as my arms go up and down, I'm not going into extension and then flexion, right? So I'm letting my shoulder blades move around my rib cage, but I'm keeping my spine tall. Doing my best anyways. Let's go one more up. Surprisingly work here. All right, so from this position, get a wide stance into your feet, widen those toes. Keeping the arms out in front of you, you're gonna keep your hips glued forward. And what we're gonna do is ask the chest and the arms to turn, and now take your eyes as far in that direction as you can. Take a breath in. Exhale, bring everything slowly back to center. Keep your hips forward. Let your chest, arms, and head go. Now look as far to the left as you can. Inhale. And exhale, slowly coming back to the middle. Let's do one more. Hips stay forward. Take your chest, arms, and then eyes go as far to the side as possible. Keep pulling open your loop. And then exhale back to center. One more. Chest, loop, eyes, go all the way as far as possible. And exhale back to center. Take your arms up overhead. And then you're going to bend your elbows and just bring that loop behind your head if possible. It might also come just right on top of your head. And then arms go up. So bend and straighten. There's going to be a lot of variation here, everybody. And that's because not just our shoulders, but what we're using, right? So with my belt not having any give, right, I can't just widen it to bring it behind me. Looks like everyone's doing an awesome job though, good. And what I'm really watching for is again the idea that when I bend, I'm not just going into a back bend. Or that when I bend, I'm not bringing my head forward to make space. So that's, again, if that loop just comes to sit on top of your head like a little halo, that's fine. If you're able to draw it behind, great. Last two. Oh, this feels good. Last one. And then bringing the arms in front. How many of you can definitely feel your shoulders are awake? Good, okay. All right, so now taking the loop, I want you to bring it behind your back. And my palms are facing each other. Okay. All right, so find that wide stance back again, widen the toes. Think of lifting up those lower abdominal muscles. So picking up those lower abs, all you're gonna do is draw your loop away from your backside and then draw it back to your buns. So reach it away from you and back to you. I think we all could agree, I won't ask for thumbs up, but I think we can all agree this range of motion doesn't feel huge, right? There's a couple of you that I can see today that I know your shoulder range is a bit bigger than mine, so you might be getting more space there. But this is all pertaining to our chest muscles and the front of the shoulder. I guarantee we've all been doing a lot more book, screen time, things of that nature. So don't be surprised if this area feels a particular bit of tightness that you don't normally experience. Go ahead and keep those arms behind you and just bring it into a little pulse. Pulse, 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 pulse. 4, 3, 2, keep it back there. Now I want you to keep tension on your loop. It's really important. So while I keep tension on the loop, I'm going to turn around. I'm going to have one hand, the back of my hand come to my low back, and the other arm comes out to the side. Now what I can do is pull that arm across for a stretch. So this arm pulling forward is forcing my other arm in that stretch. Here's where I feel it, right? Is everyone getting it? It's in the front. So let's switch. One hand goes behind the back. Notice I put my thumb through this loop here in the front. And now I'm driving this hand to you, which is pulling my other arm behind me. And wow, you can tell I'm right-handed. That side feels a little tighter in that front part of that shoulder capsule. And then go ahead and release. Good. Why don't you go ahead and drop your loop, give your arms a little shake. You can come back to that if you're like, wow, I needed that, and note that it can simply be grab a wrist and pull the arm across. I just like how it feels with this arm driving forward instead, but you could play with that. Simple pull. All right, so shaking those arms out. Okay, behind the back. Oh yes, sorry, you need to take it back. Premature. Okay, so get your loop, and it's gonna go out like so. Now, oftentimes we do these at the studio with a roller, and we'd be holding onto each end of the roller. So arms are gonna be, again, pulling open. You don't wanna feel like this is flimsy. You wanna really widen it. Okay, so about fist width apart with your feet, and the whole entire group here is gonna go into a flat back position. So we're not looking to round the spine, we're just looking to hinge at the hips. So I'm gonna take myself back so you get a little bit better view. So feet fist width apart, widen those toes, soften those knees, pull up the low abs, and now we're gonna let the loop feel like someone's pulling it forward. With our back staying straight, our hips go behind us, and we always feel hamstrings. And now you're going to imagine that you're unfolding from the hips. Take your whole spine and arms up. Again, the hinging point is right at my hips. Soften your knees, pull up your abdominals, hinge at the hips. Can you let your tailbone try to reach up to the ceiling so that you do feel that hamstring stretch, keeping your knees gently bent. Woo, up we go. Let's go one more here. Leaning, soft knees, abs pulled up. Feel your hamstrings. Let them tilt up to the ceiling. And up we come. Awesome. Go ahead and take those arms down. All right, so we're going to take this down to the floor. So get yourself nice and comfortable. You're going to be in a seated position. All right. I'm going to make sure I'm far enough away from you. Now, it doesn't matter to me if you want to sit with your knees bent or your legs straight, but we are going to work with the feet. So even if you have your knees bent, my heels would be touching the floor. I can still do the same work. All right, so you also could grab something and sit, let's say, on an ottoman or on a chair for this. All right, so where we're going to head is we're going to pull our toes back towards our knees. So we're flexing. And then we're going to point our toes away from our knees. So flexing the ankle and then pointing the toes. So as we go back and forth, please find a comfortable spot. I really don't want you just to be like, oh, it's fine, I'll just stay, but you're miserable. That is not the point. This is awesome in a seated position. If you have a mat, you can also roll up your mat and sit on it. But again, you could just hop right up and sit on a chair that's maybe in the room with you. All right, now together, they're going to go in a circle, same direction. And then take them the other way. Do not underestimate the importance of your feet. Now, can we fan them side to side? Oh, that's always a hard one. I'm probably at an advantage because I can see my feet out here in the video, but you can look down and see your feet. So notice there's a little bit, right, of this, what we call inversion, eversion, but you get this little movement. If I'm trying to shine both the bottoms of my feet one way, you can see how they're doing two very different things, and then shining both of the bottoms of my feet the other way. And now let's use this like a gas and brake pedal. So now they're going to pass each other. Really accentuate with the toes. And now pull both of them back. And now can you try to pull your toes back even further so that you feel the ball of your foot is what's pressing forward, but your toes are trying to come back. Keep pulling, pulling, pulling. I hope you feel this in your shins. Now just like little pulses back. Pulse, pull back, pull back. And you're just staying at that upper range. Pull back. If your legs, your bottom part of your legs are exposed, you're going to see the muscle on the outer of your shin. This is so important. This is so important to keep this muscle functioning and strong. Keeps us from tripping over our feet. So I hope you're feeling warmth there. What a weird place to burn. Can everyone feel it? Awesome. Pull back. 8, 7, and straight back, right? Don't start doing screwy things with rotation. I think we're at 3, 2, hold back, hold back, hold back. Awesome, and release. Good, take one hand to the floor and just bring your legs to one side. We're gonna keep this really gentle here. And I just want you to take your arm up. You can always bend into the lower arm if that feels good, or you can reach your hand further away from you. And then let's just rotate, bringing that hand to the floor. You can widen your back hand a bit and twist more. If this isn't a great fit for you, just stay right in that initial mermaid. Does this make anyone feel like they're dreaming of a reformer? Getting into that initial mermaid. And then let's go ahead and bring that hand back around. And then just nice and easy, bring your legs to the other side. Hand to the mat and take that arm over. So again, this arm could bend. You could reach it further away to make it a little bit less of a bend in the spine and just more of a stretch. And then if it feels good, go ahead and rotate, bringing that hand to the floor. You can widen your back one out. I feel this a lot in my bottom hip. So when I'm rotating, right, and really pulling my body around to get my chest towards that back hand, I get it in that hip. Feels really good. And then coming back out. Okay, so we are going to go onto our stomachs. So do keep your band or belt handy. And also because for those of you who are doing the video with me right now, I know who's in this group and I want to make a suggestion. I do believe this is actually part of Jane's series of that same video I referenced before. So if laying on your stomach to do extension work isn't a great fit, this would be the equivalent of you get on the reformer and you always have me put the foot bar downward. Or if we were in a back task and we put our arms up on a roller and you're like, ooh, it's too much. In that case, an option for this would be to let yourself stand up against a wall and put your arms out up on the wall in front of you, and you can dictate how close you are to it, and you can follow all of the same cues. So it is not required that you just get on the floor. I need you to be a bit inventive for what works for your body, okay? Because the idea is we're going to go into some, back bends. All of you in this group can be doing that. You just have to find the appropriate way to be doing it, okay? So again, you can stand right up in front of the wall, treat the wall like your floor, okay? So go ahead and do so if you need to. Okay, so everybody, we're going to use the band in the second round, so just keep it handy. All right, so come to lay on your stomachs or get yourself into that forward facing position to the surface of your choice. All right, and as we begin here, I want you to just place your hands out in front of your shoulders. So again, it could be the mat or the wall. Okay, so now we're going to press into the surface and think of peeling our spine away from the surface. And then lowering back to it. Notice at the start position, our arms are bent, right? So if you are standing against the wall, you've got to get pretty close because your arms straightening and pushing, and you lift your chest, all of us, toward the ceiling is where the magic's at. And then lowering down. Now recognize you can make this extension about the upper back, right? And stay pretty small in the angle and just think of the chest going forward. If it's suitable for your back, you can come up higher and invite more of the lumbar spine. And then lowering down. And one more, chest lifts. Up we come. And then lowering down. All right, everyone's gonna go straight arms overhead. You can always step back away from the wall here if you chose that option. Otherwise, we're gonna go forehead down, either to the floor or the wall. I'm gonna keep my head lifted just so I can see you. So if you happen to need some cueing from me, you can look my way. Just know I would love for your forehead to be down at this point. So what I want you to do is think of that right shoulder blade and let it float the right arm off the floor. And then put your right arm back down. Now, can you take your left arm away from the floor or the wall? Feel your upper back. It's like where your angel wings come from. And then lowering down. So keep alternating sides. And let those angel wings feel like they're lifting you. So you're going to do your best to not let it just be a wrist or a finger. So it can be just a small hover away from your surface. Good. So you're going to lift one arm up. The other hand is still on your surface. Now, can you also take the opposite leg off the mat or reach it behind you off the floor? And then lower down. And then opposites. So everybody still has 2 points of contact, right? We've got a hand and a foot on our surface. And then alternate. And then alternate. And alternate. Good. Take both arms up, away from the surface. Find that back bend. Good. If you're on the mat, lift your legs. Staying up there. 4. Keep reaching through the fingers and toes. And down we come. Good. Give yourself a nice stretch back into child's pose. Letting your hips reach back. Good. Walk your hands to one side. And then walk your hands to the other side. All right. Me quick. So what I want you to do is take your loop and I'm literally texting Tom, my apologies. We're getting a basketball hoop delivered at our new house and they require you to sign. So they're sitting there ringing our doorbell frantically. So, okay. I hear him, he heard me. Okay, so taking the loop, now the same is gonna apply. If you were on your tummy, you're just gonna use this in your hands out in front of you. If you were standing at a wall, just put it around your wrist again. Okay, so same procedure. So onto our stomachs or standing at the wall. Reaching those arms overhead, forehead is down. Okay, so now let's peel away from our surface and then bring it back to the surface. So reaching behind you, I'm gonna come to standing in a minute. If you're standing, you're gonna reach behind you and then back overhead. And then behind you and back overhead. If you're on your tummy on the mat, lift those arms off the floor and then put them back down. If you're on the mat, can you now lift the forehead as well? And then put everything back down. Lift arms, head, and chest. Put everything back down. Lifting arms, eyes, and chest. And everything back down. One more. Lift arms, eyes, chest. Hold right there and breathe. If you're on your mat, lift your legs. Give me a flutter kick. So flutter kick those legs. Quick, 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 quick. Keep kicking, 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 kicking. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Done. Ah, nice job. Why doesn't everybody allow themselves one more time back here in that child's pose position? It does always feel very nice with the knees wide as well. So you can kind of drop your tummy between the thighs. So go ahead and give that a chance too. All right, we're going to turn on over onto our back sides. I'm going to grab my little hand towel. Sometimes when I'm in bridge, I will remove them. So we are going to start in bridge. So just keep your hand towel close by in case you decide you want it for your abs. Okay. So coming to lay onto your back sides. So we want to encourage both spinal flexibility for those of you who that's not contraindicated for. And we also want to observe the fact that many of us also need to use a flat back approach, right? So if there's been any fusions of the spine or osteo, then we want to think of that back staying like a nice straight line. If that's not the case for you, then of course I would encourage you to kind of do your nice waving spine motion. I'm going to stay with the flat back approach today. So I want you to push your hands down into the mat and my palms are facing my body. And I'm pushing, right? Like I'm karate chopping my mat. With your feet just about a fist width apart, lift up those toes and then gently stretch them out and lay them on the mat. Now push through your heels and we're going to take our hips up to the ceiling. Now I'm going to return my whole back down like one slab. And then pick it up, one slab, and put it down. Again, if you want to articulate vertebrae by vertebrae, you go right ahead. Up and down. Everybody's up and down. And up and down. Up and down. As you're going up, squeeze the fanny and down. And squeeze the fanny and down. and go up to the top. Squeeze your butt. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. Now just lower your hips a couple inches, back up. Lower a couple inches, back up. The squeeze is always on, so there's not really a let go here. It's just squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. 3, 2, stay up at the top. Now I want you to drop one knee out to the side, which is going to roll you onto the outer edge of your foot. And then set your back down. Bring that knee back in. Pick the hips up. Now drop the other knee out to the side, rolling onto the outer edge of your foot, but keep pushing those hips to the ceiling. Keeping the leg out, drop your hips down. I'll turn in case there's any question. Hips go up. Drop one knee out and lower. Knees come in, hips come up, drop a knee out, lower the spine, and knee comes in. So one more, hips go up, one knee drops out, lower the spine down, bring the knee in. Hips go up, one knee goes out, lower down the spine, and then bring the knees in. Arms are going to go up to the ceiling, palms face each other. So let your hands reach to the ceiling and feel your shoulder blades come off of the mat-ish, and then drop your shoulder blades into the mat. We're going to keep them there. Hips are going to press up, whoop, up to the top. Now we're going to start by lifting one heel, and then lowering that heel, lift the other heel, and lower. So we're going to alternate heel lifts, heel lifts. They're not going to necessarily come up all that high. Heel lift, heel lift. I'm literally getting a cramp in my toe. Heel lift, heel lift. 3, 2, and 1. Both heels, pick them up, put them down, pick them up, put them down, pick them up, put them down. Last one, pick them up, and put them down. Set the spine down and lower the arms. Now I would like you to take one ankle and cross it to the opposite knee. Great. So from this position now, hips go up and down. So we're starting to work single legs. If you just prefer both feet on the floor, feel free. You can go both feet to the floor. Keep reaching through your fingers, pressing downward into the hands. 3, 2, and 1. Pick those hips up. Little pulses. And the pulse is the squeeze. Squeeze. Lift. Lift. Woo, that bun. 3, 2, lift it up, lift it up, lift it up. Hold it up there. Now take that foot off of that knee. Reach it up to the ceiling. Last pulses. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Set the foot down. Take the spine down. Did everyone feel that in their glutes? Good. The whole series could be done with the feet on the floor, right? And just follow the counting. Okay, so make sure you do the other foot. Okay, other foot. All right, press downward and put the hips upward. So up and down. Now we're just trying to activate the bun on the same side of the foot that's pushing. Now I am kind of wondering if any of you cheated like I just did. What I'm noticing right now is that my foot that's on the floor, I'm very much placed right in the middle. So I'm going to take a moment and walk my foot out. Darn it. Get it in line with the hip. See, our body knew where we were going, that single leg. All right, here we go. Oh, that's a little different. Oh, boy. Can't get away with anything. 3, 2, we're coming to the top. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Little release, squeeze, 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 squeeze. 4, 3, 2, hold it up there, hold it up there. Straighten that leg. Oh, pulse. 8, 7, 6, squeeze, squeeze. 4, 3, exposure, and bring the spine down. Wowzers. All right, roll yourself to the side and push yourself up. Okay, so grab your band or your loop, and it is going to go just above the knees. So I'm not below by my shins, I'm just above the knees. Now I'm looking at mine because I think I'm going to go just a little bit, well, I'll go to the smallest loop I can. Whew, sorry, I'm out of breath, right? Talking and doing is hot. All right, so I want it on the tightest one so that my knees are basically hip width apart, the best I can get, closest I can get. Okay, so now in that position, you're going to roll into side line. Now, the difficult thing is that we're not going to take the top leg down because then there's no tension in our loop. So we're looking to keep the tension, just like if we had a magic circle and our legs were through it, and we pull it open, okay? So we're pulling our loop open. Take one moment just to make sure that your head and neck are not forward, but rather in line with your ribs and your hips. This hand is a wonderful kickstand. All right, so keeping tension in your loop, pull up those abs. We don't want to puddle right into the floor. We're trying to be very active here in our midsection. And you're going to take the legs up and down, up and down. Now, the bigger your loop is, the harder this is because you've got to keep stretched open that much further. So again, don't judge it by maybe how much movement you see me making, because maybe your range of motion is bigger or smaller. But the idea is we're lifting the legs as a unit. The work is going to feel like it's in our top hip. So working this for our great balance work. Woo! 3, 2, last one. I don't need to ask for a thumbs up. I know what you're feeling. Now we're going to point the toes and then flex. Point, flex, point, flex. Start thinking about those shins again. Ooh, keep your loop pulled open. My top leg wants to lower by a little bit so badly. 4, 3, 2, pull back, reaching through your heels, pulse up, up. Keep gathering from your waist. Up, up, 3, 2, 1, bend. Oh, 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 we just went from glute max and those bridges to right there in those side balancers. Ay caramba. Yep, that's a burner, folks. Okay, good news. Intermission. Roll onto your back. Keep the band, the loop in the same location. Hands are coming behind your head. All right, so we're going to keep this as a float, right? So we want the chest to just glide up an inch and lower down. So notice you can do this without a massive amount of flexion, right? This would be a bunch of flexion. That's not where we're going. We're just trying to float our chest toward the ceiling and down, and toward the ceiling and down. And I want to feel this right in those upper abs and down. Remembering to press your head into your hands so that you get a little extra resistance. We use our heavy head to actually work our abs versus throwing our head forward. We push it back, letting it sit heavy in the hands. 3, 2, push the head down, let your abs win the battle. 2 to go. I might have said 2 on the last one. We'll make this the final one. Great, you're either gonna stay right there or you're gonna draw your legs to tabletop. Either way, taking the breath in. Now very gently exhale and draw a rib cage towards the opposite knee. And then back to center, but stay in your float. And then gently bring a rib cage to the opposite knee. Notice my elbows are wide. I'm not cheating by bringing my elbow across. I'm bringing my rib and back to center, stay in the hover. Opposite, shake, and then to center and opposite. Back to center. If your legs are up, take them down. Everybody's abs. Roll to your side, press yourself up. You are going to switch to the other side. So again, once you get down, check in to make sure that your head is not going way forward, but we're trying to be on one straight line. Okay, top leg needs to lift. You're going to create tension in your loop. Here's your little kickstand. Let's gather up the abs. I'm imagining a little baby energetic gap here in my waist. And now the legs are going up and down. Up and down. Good. Up and down. Up and down. Oh, mercy. That upper hip is talking already. Woo. Keep that tension in the band. 3, 2, keep the legs lifted, keep them lifted. Now we're gonna flex, so you reach through your heels, then reach through your toes. Reach through your heels, imagine a target out there. You touch it with your toes, then you touch it with your heels. Touch it with your toes, touch it with your heels. Touch it with your toes, heels, toes, heels, toes, heels. Last bit, reach through your heels, pulse up, 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 up. 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep it lifted, and lower. Whew. Ah. Yep, I feel that. All right, so we're gonna take the loop right on off of those legs. And coming right on up to seated. So we're going to take the loop and we're going to take it to go around the wrist again. Now, we just created that small little mini sit-up series where the feet were on the floor. We really just focused on that small lift. So if this particular ab segment isn't a great fit for you, go right back down to lying on your back and give yourself this time to just work on that heavy head mini sit-up. And then just jump back in for the next segment, okay? So hands are gonna go through your loop and I'm pulling it open again. So I want tension in my loop. All right, so in this position, we're gonna think of sitting up nice and tall. And now I'm going to pull my toes back. We prepped for this, feeling my shins on. And I'm gonna begin to just let my body lean back until I feel my abs go, whoa, okay, you're helping me. And that's good, right? Your abs are keeping you from just falling backwards. And then you're gonna come to sit tall. You can stay just as you are. I'm gonna give a little turn because it might be helpful. All right, so seated nice and tall. Pull the toes back. I'm gonna begin to hinge back, pulling my abs in just to feel them. Oh, there they just turned on. So right now I feel like I'm in a straight back position. Some of you, if it's a rounded back, you can do that. Just make sure you don't get hunched. Okay, so from this position, you're going to take your arms up and down. So we've been here, right? But we were doing this in extension. So now the way that we're going makes our abs have to work really hard. And it's not so much about the back muscles, right? So this could also just be seated in a chair, keeping your abs turned on without this lean back. So there's so many options here. Trying to give you a lot of variety to be able to work with through this. Last time, keep it in front of you. So whatever your method to abs is, you're gonna stay with it and you're just gonna rotate to one side. Now I'm trying to keep my chest right through the middle of my loop, essentially. Back to the middle and then rotate to the other side. Keep that loop out in front of your chest. Back to the center. And then rotate to the other side. I'm sweating. Back to center. And then rotate to the other side. And then back to center. And then coming out of it. And lower the arms down. Okay, so you get the gist of it. So how do you make it harder on your abs? You go back further. If you're going to focus on just a tall seated trunk and keep your abs here and only doing the arms essentially, then please do that for the second round. Arms out in front. Exhale, taking it back. So you can scoop your low abs in and up, find a nice connection. Ooh, I feel like I just went a foot back further than the first round. So just take it where you can. Oh, let's see if I can stay up here. Arms go up, oh, mercy, and then down. Ooh, so now I feel so far back that it's almost hard to keep my feet on the floor. Keep pulling those toes back. We're riding that line. Woo! Last one. Oh, now rotate. Inhale through the middle. Exhale, rotate. Inhale to the middle. Exhale, rotate. Inhale to the middle. Last exhale, shoo, rotate back to the middle, and up we come. Okay, yes, I felt that in my abs. You too? Thumbs up if you did. Some of you, I would imagine, also felt your hip flexors. Guess what? They had to work. They connect your trunk to your leg. So if you didn't have hip flexors, right, you couldn't actually make this position in your body. So don't be turned off if you were feeling that. That's part of the equation also, okay? All right, so we're going into our last little bit. Okay, oh yes. Okay, so here's where we're gonna go. Loop is gonna come up around those legs for the last time, just above the knees. I wonder if any of you thought, oh good, we'll never work with the circle because we're not at the studio, and yet here you are, experiencing your own circle ring of fire, it's referred to sometimes. So with that back around the upper legs, we're going to roll back to our sides, this time staying up on an elbow. So I'm going to bend my knees. So instead of my legs being straight here, bend your knees. You have to keep that top leg lifted so there's tension in your loop. And remember that elbow is directly under the shoulder. So the bottom leg pushes into the floor. Top arm lifts, because that's where we're going. Push into the bottom leg, lift the hip up and down. Now we did this last week as well without the band, and the knees were together. That's another great option. Please use that if you would like. And lifting up and down, lift up. But now what I want you to do is reach your hips back and then push them forward. Reach them back like you're sitting into a chair, push them forward. Reach them back, push them forward. One more time, reach them back, push them forward. Now straighten your top leg, hips go down, up, down, up. This is about getting sassy. Do a little dance in your waist and in your butt. Put a little sass into this one. 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, let's gracefully come down from that one. Oh yes, everything on my bottom side is on. The band is going to stay. Let's get to the other side. You're welcome to just roll over. So our setup, elbow under shoulder, knees, hips, ribs in alignment. Upper leg is lifted and the knees are bent. So not straight legs, bent knees. Oh, this upper hip is already talking because it just worked. Take that top arm up. And now exhale, lift the hip off the floor. Always kind of checking in, right? You need to bring your elbow further underneath your shoulder. Keep that top leg, putting tension into your loop, mercy. Keep yourself lifted. Now can you set your hips back, push them forward. Sit back, push them forward. So it's like you're gonna sit onto your heels-ish. Push them forward. Back, forward. It's so hard to keep that top leg up. Woo, stretch it out long. Little sass, 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 sass. 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't think that the dismount there was quite as smooth as the first one. go ahead and take your band all the way out, and you can set it aside. And as you come up to a seated position, just let your hands go behind you. And that can be as far back as what's comfortable for you. And a little space between the feet. We're gonna strap the knees to one side and then the other. Oh, that feels so good in the hips. Woo, I am a little tacky. Little warm on my brow and my upper lip. Woo. One more each way. Great, and release. Perfect. All right, so I'm gonna go into one bonus abs series. This is what's cool. You can just skip right on to getting yourself prepared for the release if you'd like. I can't see you, so I do know, but no, in all honesty, if you're just feeling like, yeah, you're kind of coming down and ready to just do your relaxation and prepare for that, I'm just gonna give one little add-on for abs. So it's gonna come into a plank-like position. Trust me, I'm not doing much planking though. I gotta save myself for my 5 minutes. And you're gonna come onto your elbows and forearms. All right, so tucking those toes under, I would like you to first just lift your knees to the hover. Put them down. Exhale, lift them up. Put them down. Now note that your chest stays between your elbows. So there's not a rocking back and forth here. It's just knee lifts, lowers. Knee lifts, lowers. Last one, knees lift. Now, if you can, step back to plank or you stay in the knee hover. Either way, you're gonna rotate like you're gonna drop a hip down and pick it up. Drop the other hip down, pick it up. So just rocking a little side to side, you rock into the feet and back up. Rock to the sides of the feet, back up. 4, 3, 2, 1. Stand one side, little pulses. Lift, lift, lift. Tapping one hip to the floor essentially. And then other side to finish. Lift, 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 lift. 3, 2, 1, done. Knees down. Everybody's into child's pose. Sweaty palms now. Okay, so as we head into the release work, again, just keep in mind that you can leave the meeting when we're finished. So I'll let you know that I will let you know about the ending of the recording, and then you're welcome to just go if you want. You can go at any time, really, but just saying if you'd like to stay relaxed, you don't have to jump onto the social call after this. Okay, I'm gonna catch my breath here. So I'm gonna have you come to lay on your backs and get yourself comfortable. So I really like a pillow, let's say under my knees, right? That feels extremely good for me in this position. And also as you're kind of letting your heart rate come down, you know, you don't have to jump to instant stillness. Maybe it feels good to rock those knees back and forth. I also want you to be very aware that you could do this seated, right? So you could just come to a seated position, whether it be on the floor or in a chair. So whatever position that you've chosen, I do want you to open your palms to the ceiling. At any point too, you're just feeling as you cool down, you want another layer or a blanket, just toss something on top of yourself. So palms are open. And I just want you to start letting your breath just find its rhythm, right? So mine, for instance, you know, got going there in that ab series. So just breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. Breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, out through the mouth. In through the nose, and out through the mouth. Keep going in a rhythm that suits you best. I'm going to give everyone a few breaths at their own pace. I want you to start imagining the sun kissing your toes. I just pictured myself right on the shores of Lake Michigan, and there's the bluff, right? So as the sun comes up, it just starts making its appearance on the beach. And as I'm laying there in the sand, I invite you to lay there also if that's a peaceful place for you. Picture the sun just starting to touch your toes. And as the sun continues to come higher and higher, its rays begin to rush over your calves, shins, your knees, and there's that feeling of just instant warmth. Feel it wash over your thighs and your waist. And then when it would hit our tummy, that warm sensation. You just start to feel that energy, the connection to the earth. Feel that sun continue to climb over your chest and arms and into your hands. Feel the rays just reaching to your palms, filling your palms with warmth and light. And here comes the sun touching our throat, and then our chin, and our nose, and our eyes, and our forehead, and then our hair. And although our eyes are closed, you can just imagine that red glow that we would see through our eyelids. Being aware of the energy that you receive. Feeling ourselves connected to something bigger. Let the sun feel like it's its blessing to you. It blesses you to be you. As you continue to breathe, notice any areas of your body that maybe you're holding. You're still holding, feeling like you're needing to create maybe a certain shape in your body, or not even recognizing maybe my jaw is still held a little tight. Maybe I'm kind of pinching the space between my eyes. Can you invite those rays of sunshine in your mind to those spaces and just consume that space with that bright, energizing, warm light?
And just letting your eyes remain closed, go ahead and roll to one side. You could take the pillow with you between the knees or under the head. Just let yourself roll to the side. And in that position, I just want you to visualize that the sun rays are beaming on your back, and you're going to breathe in that just magnificent, bright, piercing yellow light. And as you exhale, visualize the air coming out your chest. And to me, that's letting the clouds go. Inhale, it comes in through your back, that bright, piercing yellow light, and exhale out the gray. Inhale into your back, and exhale out the front. Continue to breathe in a way that is most relaxing to you. For a moment, I want you to think about a year from now. And maybe a word that pops into your mind when you think about a year from now. And as we go through our day today, as we've practiced in the past, we use that word as a place of coming back to center. As our thoughts and worries start to take us down a different trail, we're going to come back to the head of the trail that has the sign that says that word, and you're coming back there. So I'm going to leave you with some words today before I go. You can continue just to remain comfortable where you are. So I wrote this for you all. I can't wait for a year's time where all this is a distant memory. And there is a baby boom because all the lovers were loving. And there's a rise in entrepreneurs because there was a moment of stillness and creativity. And all the children, like you hope, remember a time when moms and dads were home and there was drawing and extra playing. And we remember it as a time that we all had a moment to stop and a choice to be present. We will remember it as a time when our health was our first priority. And people learned how to feed their families in new ways. We will remember FaceTiming and Zooming and calling friends each day. It will be remembered as a time where we had to think outside the box and reinvent new things. What we will remember is that amongst the chaos was a community, and there is a feeling of togetherness. And as the streets feel quiet, our homes are bustling with love. This will all be a memory that will be shared with the children in school someday. We are all in this together, and this will end. And there is beauty here. So I'm reminding all of us to look for that. Have a wonderful day.